Hey, Butch Patrick here, and this week we're going to be talking about Mr. Fess Parker. Daniel Boone, you say? Yes, he was, but he was also Davy Crockett before, and a lot more, and more to follow. Fess Elisha Parker II was born August 16, 1924 in Fort Worth, Texas. He attended Hardin-Simmons University in Abilene, Texas, before joining the Navy in World War II. At 6'6", he was deemed too tall to become a pilot and too big to be a radio man gunner. He wound up participating in mopping up operations in the Philippines. After the war, he attended the University of Texas and the University of Southern California. Fess began acting in 1951, making his film debut a year later. In 1954, Walt Disney began searching for someone who could play Davy Crockett in a series he planned to produce for his new television show, Disneyland. Someone had recommended Disney consider actor James Arness, who was starring in a science fiction movie titled Them. When Disney saw Fess, he had a small role in the film. He exclaimed, "That's our Davy Crockett." The first episode of the Davy Crockett trilogy, Davy Crockett Indian Fighter, with Buddy Ebsen as Fess's sidekick, premiered on December 15, 1954.
And now, from Davy's own journal, the first of 3 stories, The Indian War.
The show was a huge success and set off a frenzy for coonskin caps and all sorts of merchandise, including costumes, puzzles, cards, and even board games. The show was also considered to be the first television miniseries.
Mighty big one, Davy. Now's a good time to try out that idea I was telling you about. Give that old grin everything you got, Davy.
After the show ended, Fess continued acting in Disney films, but soon became disillusioned with roles that all felt the same. After Walt Disney informed Fess that he turned down director John Ford's request to cast Fess in The Searchers, Fess left Disney for Paramount. In 1962, Fess starred in the short-lived TV series Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, which was based on the Jimmy Stewart film. In 1964, Fess returned to the Wild West as Daniel Boone, a television series that ran from 1964 to 1970. The show's success proved lucrative for Fess, who owned 30% of the series. By the mid-1970s, Parker chose business over acting and became a real estate developer with interests in luxury hotels. In 1987, he purchased a 714-acre ranch, which he turned into a winery. The wines he produced went on to garner numerous medals, and the winery is still a successful tourist and wedding destination. On March 18, 2010, after a long and successful life, Fess Parker died of natural causes at the age of 85. He was buried at Santa Barbara Cemetery in Santa Barbara, California. The cool thing about Daniel Boone, I actually did that in 1967, but it premiered in 64, the same year the Munchers came on the air. So it was a black and white show that actually went into color. The interesting thing about working for Daniel Boone on that show was the star of the show happened to be Vincent Price.
Miss Hinch, I want you to know that my wife and I are very grateful to you for having brought this matter to our attention.
What will you do to him?
Well, he must be...
Now you think Vincent Price, you would be in a monster movie or a vampire movie? No, he actually did a Western.
It's all right now, ma'am.
Excellent. Excellent! Just as I thought.
He played a Fagin-type character, something like Oliver, and I played the Artful Dodger character, Black Cat Jack. I never actually was on camera with Fess, although he was there. I remember how tall he was. He reminded me a lot of Fred Gwynn. Fess was 6'6", Fred was 6'7".
Yeah, what's your name?
I'm Copperhead Izzy.
Hi, Copperhead. Join the gang.
Wait a minute. Let's do this the right way.
Darby Hinton, who played Israel in the series, was the star of this particular episode where he ran away from home and joined up with us to, we called him Copperhead Izzy was his nickname, which was the title of the episode. Darby and I are still good friends. Interesting life he had, but he told me a lot about Fess because he spent 6 years with him, and Fess apparently was a great role model for Darby as a dad. His career lives on as Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett. I was lucky enough to be on the show with Vincent Price, and we'll have another episode and another star profiled on Coast to Coast.